Welcome to a new adventure on board Florence, and this year we are sailing as far north as we can. We're aiming for the Arctic. But it's been about 5 months since we went sailing on Florence. We've been based in the marina over the winter whilst we prepare her, and we've got to the stage where probably the rustiest thing on board is us. So we need to change that and go out sailing. It's a gorgeous day to be going out sailing today and a great start to a new adventure.
See you in Norway! This is the third time that we will have sailed Florence out of Portsmouth harbour at the start of an adventure, but this one is going to be very different.
Most of the 8 years that we've spent sailing around the world have been spent in the tropics. We've sailed far enough south to see penguins in Cape Town and New Zealand, but never truly experienced high latitude sailing.
This time we are sailing to the far north, as far as we can sail, past the northernmost town in the world to the edge of the charts. We're hoping to see polar bears and walrus, and to sail in the icy waters of Svalbard.
We want to find out what life is like up there. Can we cope? Can Florence cope? And do we enjoy it?
Ready?
Yeah. The answers to those questions will drive the route that we take next.
It is an absolutely glorious day out here today. We've just come out of Portsmouth harbour and we're sailing down the Solent to the west. We're actually heading southwest, which isn't north, I know, because we're supposed to go north. But the wind is coming from the east, so to go the shortest distance up to Shetland, which is going to be our step-off point to go north up to the Arctic, the shortest distance is to go east along the Channel and up the North Sea. But the wind's against us for doing that. But the wind's with us to go the other way, to go down to the Isles of Scilly and then turn right and go up the Irish Sea, and then we're hoping to go through the Caledonian Canal. So we're heading kind of almost the opposite way. And because we haven't been out sailing for so long on Florence, we're giving ourselves a nice easy leg to start with. We're just going to sail down the Solent and then stop in either Newtown Creek or Yarmouth, which are about 16 miles down the Solent, for the night. And then that's going to allow us to get up at dawn tomorrow, catch the dawn tide, out through the Hurst Narrows, past the Needles and out into the English Channel down towards the Isles of Scilly. So this afternoon we just get to enjoy a gentle potter down the Solent.
Yeah, ready? I love the feeling of when we're setting off somewhere new and everything is just coming together. Not quite everything on the jobs list is ticked off, but enough is. And the boat is fully stocked with provisions. Yeah, it's just such a good feeling to be heading out again.
I never feel fully ready whenever we set out, because there's always more you could do with more time, and you're always questioning, have you done everything? So we always have these butterflies and a lot of nervous tension just as we set out. But this little jaunt down the Solent, hopefully it's just those butterflies are settling now, and then hopefully tomorrow morning we'll feel much more ready to truly set out into the channel and get going.
Feels really strange and surreal to be setting off for the Arctic on such a beautiful sunny day. It almost feels as surreal today as it did when we very first left the Solent to set off to sail around the world. I found myself kind of catching what I'm saying, and when people are asking me where I'm going, I'm not quite able to believe it myself, really.
Looks like there's a few boats in there. Such a beautiful weekend. But it doesn't look completely round full, so hopefully there's space for us in there as well.
Ready when you are? Well, that was a lovely first sail, really gentle, and it's beautiful here. But we've just got enough time, we've just arrived as the sun is dropping, so we've just got enough time for some dinner and hopefully a good night's sleep before we leave again at dawn.
It's been an absolutely glorious morning this morning. Just got this beautiful blue skies and a nice gentle 12 knots to sail downwind in. The purpose of leaving at dawn was to catch the tide as far as we could and to get past Portland Bill before the tide turns. Now it's been a little bit less wind than we thought there'd be, so we've been a little bit slower, but just on our starboard side here we are about to pass Portland Bill and we've got about 40 minutes to go until it's slack tide. So we've made it past that point. The next headland we're going to go past, obviously the tide is going to be going the other way, so it'll be against us. So what we're going to do now, we've been inshore to make the most of the tide as it whistles past these headlands. We're now going to jibe, so they're a bit further offshore. We can go past Start Point, which is the next headland, and that's where the tide's going to be against us. So we won't have quite so much tide because we'll be further offshore. But yeah, what a beautiful day to be out sailing. Okay, ready when you are?
Ready now? prepping some food for dinner. As you can see, we are very well stocked with fresh fruit and vegetables. I'm not entirely sure how many we're going to be able to find when we get further north, so we're just trying to pack in as much fresh fruit and veg as we can in the meantime. I actually intended to prep this before we left, so it's a good job it's so calm, because it's certainly making my life easier. Got stir-fried vegetables with pork and noodles in hoisin sauce. I have to admit I cheated and used a pre-packet sauce because it's a lot easier.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. I think I might need my jacket back on over here.
The fresh sea air certainly gives you an appetite.
After dinner, the wind dropped off, so we put up our light wind sail, the spinnaker, to try and keep Florence moving in the right direction.
Okay, ready? Yeah. Yeah, I need to use the sheet.
Unfortunately, the wind eventually completely died, and we had to resort to motoring to avoid being swept backwards past start point by the tide.
I thought I had cursed us last night when I said just after dinner that you couldn't ask for better weather than what we had, because shortly after that the wind died to 3 knots and we were only making 1.5 knots over the ground. And then we had the tide against us, so we ended up motoring for 2 hours, and I thought that was it, we're gonna have to motor the rest of the way, but it was only 2 hours and the wind filled back in, and we've had absolutely glorious conditions again today. As we came past the Lizard, we caught the strong tide in our favour as well, so we were making 8 knots over the ground, and I think we're ETA to get into the Scillies about 5:30, so in time for dinner, which is going to be brilliant. But yeah, even the sea state's really calm, plenty of breeze, just enough for us to be full sail. Glorious.
I really loved this passage. I know it's been very flat and easy and a very gentle introduction to the trip north, but it just feels great to be back on board Florence and sailing again and setting off on a new adventure. It's the biggest sense of freedom to me, and I just love it.
a job.
I'm used to everybody in the West Country.
What are you doing, Amy?
Getting ready to go ashore, but this is how rusty we are because we need to carry the dinghy up the beach, which means either wearing wellies and risking it going over the edge of your wellies, or rolling up your trousers and getting your feet wet. And yeah, I'm just getting ready to go ashore and doing up my shoes.
That's not gonna work.
Too much time in the marina. This is the beautiful island of St Agnes in the Isles of Scilly, and this is actually the very first landfall that we made when we sailed into the UK from our circumnavigation. And at that time it was late summer and the bay was absolutely packed with boats, but as you can see today Florence is the only boat in here. Part of that reason is because we're very early in the season still, and I think the other reason is because the swell is coming in here. So you'll see that we've put a stern anchor out, and Florence is now, instead of sitting side on to the waves and rolling, she's sitting with her bow into them and just pitching, which is a much more comfortable motion. But really happy to be here. It's such a beautiful place, and it's really nice to see it at a different time of year. One of the really nice things about here is that it's actually two islands which are connected by this tombolo beach where the waves have created and pushed the sand up from each side. One of the reasons that it's really good to come here in the spring is because the islands are absolutely covered in thousands of spring flowers. We actually used to farm the flowers here on the islands because the climate is warmer than it is on the coast of Cornwall or the south coast of the UK, and so they'd start slightly early and they'd send them to the Covent Garden market in London. But the Dutch imports took over, and so they're no longer sent off the island, and so they're here for everyone to enjoy.
The fields for growing the flowers on the islands have these tall hedges around them to protect them from the windy conditions and help to get them to grow early. And you find hedged fields all over the islands, although because they no longer produce the flowers, and I think before that was potatoes, and then transport of the potatoes became difficult and expensive, most of the income on the island is now from tourism, although there is still one farm down the end which is a dairy farm. And the really good thing about that is they produce ice cream. And that's one of the reasons this is my favourite island in the Isles of Scilly. Amy's here for the flowers and the scenery. I'm here for the ice cream. Very good. I went for peaches and cream and sea salted caramel, but we're definitely going to have to come back here on a walk so we can try some other flavours. Another good thing about the dairy farm here is they have a campsite with a shower block, and they're happy to sell us a couple of tokens for a shower because we don't have a shower on board Florence. So this is another luxury, just like the ice cream. When we arrived and we were dropping the mainsail, Amy spotted that we'd broken one of the sail slides on the mainsail, but we have spares, so if that's the only damage we've got, that's all good. So I'm just going to go and take the old broken one off and sew the new one on, and then we should be good to go again. Now I need to take this section of the mast track out so that I can slide the most of the sail out, slide the new slide down in here, slide the rest of the sail back in on top of it, and then put this back in again. So that's the new one in there, all sorted.
Next time, we will sail north, we promise. Propelled up the Irish Sea by a southerly wind, we couldn't resist the temptation to stop in for a Guinness and some live music in Dublin before sailing on to Scotland.
For extra updates in between these bi-weekly videos, and to find out what we're up to in real time, head over to Patreon and join the crew. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to make sure that you don't miss the next episode here on YouTube.
Continuing our voyage on Florence would not be possible without the support of our patrons. Thank you to all of you, and especially to our star patrons.